Hey you guys, who wants to make some Asian turkey meatball soup tonight? It's been raining in Los Angeles and I was trying to think of like a great soup that I felt like making, and my daughter Camelia called me today, and she is in Aspen, and she was like, oh, I made your Asian turkey meatball soup last night and it was so good. And I was like, that's what I'm going to make. So I inspired my daughter and she inspired me. So I thought I would bring you along and remind you of this great recipe. Hi Jules, how are you? Hey Trula. So it starts with turkey meatballs. You can use chicken meatballs or you can use whatever you like, but I'm gonna use turkey today. And I season them with ginger and garlic and some nice aromatics and some tamari and sesame oil. And then we have some broth that's on the stove already. We're gonna make those little meatballs and they're really flavorful and delicious. And then I put bok choy, some kale, cilantro, green onions. I have some water chestnuts, some snow peas. Hi, Patricia. So this is, Kim has made this. So Suzanne and I used to make this together, for those of you who know this from way back when. So let's do it. This is the turkey. I made extra because you know when you have a great soup in the fridge and it is a whole meal and everyone keeps reaching for it? I know that's what's gonna happen with this. So I wanna make sure that I have enough for a couple of meals for us. So I'm just adding some garlic. Hey Jennifer, hi Nancy. Sharon is watching. I would love to cook like it. You know, you just gotta go buy some ingredients and just start chopping. Because cooking is really, it's really just about wanting to do it. Not everyone likes to do it. Some people like to watch it, but they don't like to do it. And really, any level of that is fine. But if you do decide to cook, it really is just about following directions as best you can, and it gets a little better every time. It doesn't have to be exact. Let me grab this is some fresh ginger root, which is what gives this soup a ton of great flavor. I just want to get a spoon. I'm gonna just grate this a little bit. Hang on. I see one of you asking about a new cookbook. You guys, yes, the new cookbook has begun. I hate to even tell you that it's begun because it takes so long to get it done that if I say this, you're gonna think it's going to be ready even, I don't think it'll be ready this year. I hope so, but could be, but it could be next year. But I have started shooting and doing my recipe development, and so that's exciting. I have a lot of Nancy's on tonight. Hi, Nancy. Who taught you how to cook? Who taught me how to cook? My mother was an amazing cook. So, you know, I come from both sides Italian grandmothers, and my mom was a fabulous cook. All the ladies in the neighborhood were always very jealous of my mom's food. And she knew how to season. And I think when you learn at someone's knee like that, that just innate ability to season food and make it taste good. So that's where it started. And then I got interested, more interested in college. And then Bruce is a great cook. So Bruce taught me a lot. And then having access to Suzanne and all of her cooking. Suzanne was literally one of the best cooks ever. And she taught me so much. And we did so much together in the kitchen. And then when I was young, I worked at several restaurants. One of them was City Restaurant with Mary Sue Milliken and Susan Feniger, that you may know as the Two Hot Tamales. And I was an expediter, so I was in the kitchen organizing. You organize with the kitchen staff all the food that the servers then take to the tables. So you're more in the kitchen and kind of on the floor as well. And I learned so much about cooking from those two women. They're spectacular. So all the flavors from other countries and cuisines that I was not familiar with, they really opened a world to me, because that's what the restaurant was. It was about different cities from all of their travels all over the world. So then you just got to start cooking. So once I started cooking, then you work on it on your own. So you can grate the ginger or you can chop the ginger. I think I'm going to use my micro plane, which is so good for so many things. So I'm going to grate this now. And the ginger really gives this a lot of flavor. So you want to flavor the meatballs with the ginger, and then you also want to flavor the broth. I used a boxed broth because I didn't have any homemade or frozen. It's obviously much better if you use homemade broth. But because there's so much, these little meatballs give the broth so much flavor, you get an extra, your broth, canned broth starts tasting a lot better when you put a couple pounds of meat in it. Okay, so the aromatics in the turkey here that I'm going to use, ginger, garlic, I'm going to use a lot of green onion. I'm going to put in a lot of chopped cilantro, and then I'm going to use some chili oil, sesame oil, and tamari. Did you peel the ginger with a spoon? Yes, I did. Carola Roberts, you're so amazing. You guys, it's the beginning of the Lunar New Year. Have you heard? So today is the beginning of the Fire Horse year, which is very exciting. Last year was the year of the snake, so that's when you shed off your things that no longer serve you and you emerge into something new and different. And today is the beginning of the Lunar New Year, and it is the year of the Fire Horse. So evidently we're gonna take off. Can stock and broth be used interchangeably? Marie, usually yes. If you need a really clear broth, certain soups and things, you want something that's very clear, like a clear golden broth. But a stock is usually made from bones, so it's richer. I usually use stock, but I get them confused. I had to pause there for a minute, but Janet, thank you. She said, you show such respect for ingredients. You know what? It is all about the ingredients. And everything makes a little bit of a difference. If you buy the garlic in a jar pre-peeled, it does not have the flavor of fresh garlic. And if you need to use that shortcut, go ahead. You got it. Or if you need to use garlic powder, you're, again, one step farther away from the real aromatic taste that you get from garlic. But you do you. Like, if that's what helps you get a meal on the table, I have no issue with that. I obviously am pretty into it, so I will sit here and peel and, do all the things. This gets pretty tedious with the ginger, but I'm gonna say that's enough. Okay, then I'm going to take some green onions. I'm gonna save some of them for the garnish. Made with love. Maisie, that is the truth. Some with garlic and some of these green onions I'm going to use for the meatballs, some I'm going to use for the garnish. So nice and thin. I'm not going to look up at you so that no one worries about me slicing fingers off. Did everyone have a good Valentine's Day? We didn't really have a Valentine dinner like we normally do because we ended up doing a shoot for the cookbook. So we just had our friends here who were helping us shoot. They stayed and we ate the food from the shoot, which was great. And that next book is going to be, it's going to be an entertaining book. It's going to be how the menus that I use all throughout the year for holidays or special occasions. I came in late. What are we making? Lori, we are making a little Asian meatball turkey soup. So here are my green onions and they're going into my turkey here. I'm using ground turkey and Now I'm going to start seasoning this. Well, I'll add some of the fresh cilantro. I'll use about half of this. I like those little meatballs to be really flavorful and well seasoned. You have lucky friends, Denise. Thank you. I do. I have great friends and reciprocal, you know. My friends are amazing. You need your own cook show. Well, I mean, it's kind of working, right? I'm cooking and you guys are watching, so it is a cooking show. Hi, I miss seeing you on the live. Everything you cook looks delicious. Thank you. You can catch me here. You know, I'm not super organized in when I go live, but no, Janet, I'm not a lefty. The camera is flipped when you shoot, so I can read your comments. The camera has to be facing me. Cilantro going in my meatball. Now, the next thing that is going in, the next thing that is going in here, I'm going to season it with some salt. And it's going to get tamari and salt, so you want to not over salt it. Kathy doesn't like cilantro. A lot of people don't. It's polarizing. This is white pepper. You can use ground pepper. I like the white pepper. And then I'm going to add some tamari. I guess I could show you my meat here, but who wants to look at raw meat? You can't really see it anyway. Okay, I'm going to use a little tamari. That's going to give it some great flavor. Some toasted sesame oil. You want to get the toasted one. Great flavor. And then for a little bit of spice, some chili oil. This is quite spicy, so you don't need a lot of it. Now, I'm going to mash this up and turn it into meatballs, which is going to take me some time because I like the meatballs small. I just think it's more pleasing to have a small meatball. Okay, so my hands are clean. We are going in here with our hands. What is the difference between white and black pepper? Amy, the white pepper is a lot softer. So I find with Asian meals, it's nice to use the white pepper. If you're going to use a black pepper, just use a very fine grind on it. So the coarser ground the pepper is, the more sharp the flavor is, and that's wonderful on, you know, on meats or things where you want a bolder pepper flavor. But for this, I don't want it to take over. I just want it to give a little bit of a softer accent. If you don't like cilantro, you can leave it out, or you could use parsley. Jules, it's usually 2, but I added an extra pound of turkey because like I said, I'm going to make a big pot. Just depends how many meatballs you want. Okay, so I'm gonna wet my hands, and that's gonna help me to make these meatballs a little better. I have a little tray here. Small. I know, this is a pain. We're gonna be here for a while. So our homemade lasagna noodles, that much better than boxed. Elizabeth, here's what I'm gonna tell you. You can make your homemade lasagna noodle really thin, and that is a totally different flavor to have several thin noodles than more of the thicker noodles. So that's why I like to make it myself. And it, you know, when you're using the lasagna noodles, you don't have the step of cutting the pasta into anything. So it doesn't really doesn't take that long. And I do think it makes a difference. But, you know, there's Tuesday night lasagna, and then there's make your own pasta kind of lasagna, and they're all good. So if you want to use the dried pasta, go for it. No breadcrumbs, not in this, Marie, because this is an Asian meatball. It's not an Italian meatball. In my Italian meatballs, I do use some bread. I use lasagna sheets from Homemade Pasta Store. They're wonderful. Oh, that's a good idea. You can, you know, there are a lot of places now where you can buy fresh pasta. Will you bake the meatballs off or fry and finish in the oven? Holly, I've done it both ways. I'm gonna put these in the oven just because I think it's gonna be a little easier with this many meatballs. And I'll start to cook them in the oven, and then they'll finish in the soup pot. And you just get such a good flavor. And by the time you add, I put a ton of vegetables in this as well. I have some bok choy, I have kale, I have snow peas, I have some water chestnuts, and I love the way this soup comes together. I love watching real wholesome food being prepared, and it's nice when it's different foods. Thank you. Oh, I'm glad. Well, you guys are keeping me company. Bruce went to yoga, and Violet is out, so you can replace the noodles with cabbage in slices and make cabbage lasagna. You could. What will the name of the new cookbook be? Probably Served Holiday, or Holidays Served, or I don't know. We'll think about it. I'll probably stick with Served, but I don't know if that's bad for search. You know, people end up, I mean, you know where it's going to be. It's going to be on my website. I use ground turkey all the time. Do you use the ground dark or the ground breast? This is, I prefer the ground dark meat, but they only had this one at the store today. And there's so little fat in turkey. Hello, my sweet Caroline. I finally got you live. I'm here. I would love to be more organized, but you know, when I cook is when I'm hungry and I've gone to the store. So that's what happened today. What is your most famous dish that you've ever made? Oh my goodness. It's like picking children. You can't pick one. You just can't pick one. But I'm excited about the recipes in this book because when I did my book Served, I was so overwhelmed doing the first book because I thought I have so many recipes, like how am I going to pick the first 50 to do? So I just wrote down 50 recipes and I said, Bruce, what if I just did these? And I just went into it that way so that I wouldn't stop myself from doing it, from being overwhelmed by it. But there are a lot of recipes that are in my everyday repertoire and that are in my normal every holiday repertoire that are not in that book. And you know, a lot of my family, especially my girls, I want those recipes in print for them. I'm watching them now really becoming great cooks on their own. But it's really nice. They've really used my book as a way to, you know, they've seen me make it, and then it's different. When you try it yourself for the first time, it is different. Celebration served. Yes, celebration is also a good word. Entertainment served. You guys are so good. Hi, Cheryl. Thank you. That's sweet. See, this is why we have to chat, so we can work it all out, right? I am making an Asian turkey meatball soup for those of you who came in late. Loved your popovers at the holiday. That recipe will definitely be in the book. The popovers and the standing rib roast with the bordelaise. That's what we ate on Saturday night again, and it was delicious. It's really good. Although my Yorkshire pudding came out better at Christmas than it did for this first shoot. I'm going to have to shoot that again. These are the things that you just don't know in a cookbook. Sometimes we got to do it more than once. I had I have a scalloped potato recipe for you guys. I have a scalloped potato. I had my scalloped potatoes in at the same time as the Yorkshire pudding. That may have been the difference. I ran out of milk, so I had to run out and get milk right before I made the popovers, and the milk has to get to room temp. So they just weren't quite as popping as they were on when I made them for you guys, and also at my actual Christmas Eve. So I'll get them right. I will get it right. Well, this turns out to be a lot of meatballs. Marta, so excited about a second cookbook. Thank you so much. I'm glad you loved the first one. Tammy said, I am your fan from Arkansas. I love watching you cook, you know, especially when Bruce says damn. Mason Wolf HQ would love to collab on Tablescape with you. DM me. I need help on Tablescape. You know, there are only so many dishes one has. Will you do a twice baked potato with caviar on top? No, I have my potato latkes with caviar, and oh my God, they were the best we've ever made them on Saturday. My mother used to make popovers. I remember how fussy they were. It really is. It's the temperature of your ingredients, the proportion of the ingredients, and the heat in your oven. Do not open that door, that's for sure. Okay, well, these started a little smaller than they ended up. Is this recipe and served? Kimmy, no, it is not. This is a recipe that Suzanne and I used to make a long time ago. I think we made it together for one of the summer size books. And my daughter had it last night and reminded me of how good it was. So I thought, you know what? That is a great thing to have here on a rainy day. We have a little more rain coming. Okay, here's a new topic. Did you guys see Wuthering Heights? Did we see it? Did it live up to the hype? Are you loving? Are you hating? I want to know. We saw it. But I'm going to wait. I'm going to wait until you guys tell me what you thought. My popovers were horrible, just horrible. Oh no. Okay, Sweathers loved Wuthering Heights. Okay, she loved it. Yes, surprised me. It was a little gruesome at first, but then he was definitely hunky. Yes, Jacob Elordi was definitely hunky. Hi, Francesca. Okay, I'm going to put these in the oven. So let me just rinse my hands. Okay, Jackie's going to see it this weekend. So here's what I will say. If you are an English Lit fan, if you're a Bronte fan, you cannot expect to go see what the book is like. This is a very campy, kind of outrageous interpretation of the film. So some of the parts are very fun and they're very out there. And other parts made me laugh and I thought they were silly. But you know what, I'm pretty easily entertained. So saw it, but I watched the older version before I went to the new movie. Didn't like some parts. I agree with you about that part, Julie. That's what I say, silly. But you know, she was trying to do something kind of outrageous and different. All right, those meatballs are in the oven. I will make the rest of these at a later date. Okay, now what I'm going to do is get the rest of the vegetables ready for the broth. This is bok choy, and I love the bok choy in this soup. So I like everything to be kind of bite-sized in soup, so you don't have to tussle too much with the spoon. This looks like it has more dirt on the inside, so I've washed these, but I can see that they're going to need to be washed again. So I'm just splitting them down the middle. I love the classic myself, and the books are always better than the films for sure. My popovers were the best when I followed Caroline's suggestion of pricking them just after they come out of the oven. Oh, that's good, Susan. I'm glad. I like it when, you know, you always hope people succeed with your recipes. You learn a trick or two every time. Agree, missing you on the Suzanne products happening. Not the same without you, darling. It's not the same. Oh, thank you, Larry or Gail. You know what? Those guys they are under new management, and they are, you know, I think you're gonna have to give them a little while to find the way they want to do it. And I think the transition is always the hardest because you're used to one thing and they have maybe a different concept about how they want things to work. So, you know, I think it will change and be a little different, but the transition, like I say, is always kind of the most difficult part. But maybe they'll end up with some new customers who like the way they're doing it. I always hope that brand is always around because I love it. This is the kale. Again, I just wanted to put something new in here, another green vegetable. I load this up with a lot of green vegetables. So this is just the cavolo nero, they call it in Italy. And I take this center stalk out. Here we go. Alan hired someone new to be the president. And his son Stephen is helping, and Stephen found this woman, and that's who's running it now. So they have a whole new team. The team that I had there is no longer there, and you know, give them some grace and some time to figure it out. I love watching your cooking segments. Is there a place we can watch them if we miss the live? Lisa, these go on my feed afterwards. So if you just go to my Instagram or Facebook and scroll back, you can see the rest of the lives. The company has not been sold, Barbara. It's under same management. Just Alan. Alan is the sole owner of the company. Marnie, I am making an Asian turkey meatball soup, and it has great flavor, and it's really hearty, and it's a little cold and rainy here, so that's where we are making our great soup tonight. This is such a nice main course soup. It has everything that you want in it, which is why I'm loading it up with a ton of vegetables. And I'm letting those meatballs cook off in the fridge, and in the oven. And then I'm gonna put them in that broth, and it's gonna make that broth taste really good. That is my kale. Soup is a lot of prepping, but then you have like this one great hearty. Where are you traveling to next? Brenda, we are headed back to Italy. We are going to Rome and Tuscany and Florence. So I'm going with all of my siblings. So this is going to be a really fun trip. There are 6 of us, and I asked them if they wanted to go on a trip, because looking at doing, Bruce and I were talking about doing retreats, and I said, I feel like we need to do a dry run. So I asked my family if they wanted to go to do the dry run, and literally every one of my siblings said yes. which is amazing. So we're going to go have some fun family time. I'll film everything. I'll make sure all the outings that we are considering for the retreat will be fun and, you know, the right amount of time, traveling, etc. And then hopefully some of you will be with us on the next one. Okay, so here is I'm just going to chop up the kale, get this set aside. And again, bites not too big for soup. Amelia actually got stuck in Aspen. There are, you know, storms there and storms here. So she was there for the weekend, for the long weekend, and can't get home. So she is working from her cozy little spot there, which is not a bad place to be in cold weather. Okay, kale. I always wanted to go to Italy. Cece said, post lots of pictures. I will. I absolutely will. Okay, you guys remind me when it's time to take out those meatballs. A lot of you are asking about Violet. I think you should ask Violet when she's on about her personal things, because I don't like to, you know, that's for her to talk about. Do you own a house there, Caroline? No, Beverly, but, you know, Year of the Horse, would love it if that were part of the horse's plan, would be to run to Italy and get a house. So I would love that, at least for a part of the year. I love Los Angeles, and my family is here, and it's my center and it's my home. But I sure would love to be in Italy for at least half the year. And also, once you're over there, it's so easy to travel from there. Okay, and now I'm going to do this bok choy. And then you're going to see, after all this prep, how we pull it all together for a beautiful, beautiful soup. And about the time Bruce comes home from yoga, my friend in Sicily is selling homes for cheap compared to America. Well, that's great. You know, the dollar is not very strong right now, which is a little disappointing. It's not, you know, it's not, there's a lot of, for as wonderful as all the reasons are that we want to move to Italy, the food and the people and the vibe and all of that, the art, the architecture, the bureaucracy is really tough. So we've had a really hard time with getting citizenship, even though I thought we would definitely qualify. So now we need to work with a lawyer, and that part has been tough. So we'll see. I'm not jumping into anything. You know, traveling and being in someone else's home that you don't have to worry about the pipes and all of that is also really nice. Bunny, you want to come say hi? I lived in Germany 7 years. Oh, nice. My personal habit would be eating your cooking every day. Oh, thank you. I've been having fun because I have a lot more time to cook now, which has been great. And Bruce is happy about it. I know a lot of you jumped in on that big Willis Air sale that we had over President's Weekend. And technically it was supposed to end yesterday, but so many people didn't get in on the sale that they actually extended it through today. So you have 6 more hours. If you didn't get that great price for President's Day, you can still get it. It's as low as $2.49 a unit when you buy the bundle. So if you miss that, go to wellisair.com and just make sure you shop before the end of today, which is Tuesday the 17th. Okay. Now all these vegetables are going to, you guys are gassing me up. You're very sweet. I'm going to show you Bunny as soon as I have free hands. As soon as I get all these things chopped. It's very nice of you guys to keep me company while I chop and make this big pot of hearty soup. You can start to smell the meatballs happening. And they will finish cooking in the broth. Does it allow you to make payments? Christine, I'm not sure. Check on the website. There may be a payment plan, and if there isn't, DM me and I'll see if I can work something out with my team for you. Okay. Now I'm going to these are snow peas. So the snow peas are the flat ones like this. Am I really gonna take the string out of every one of these? Oh, that's such a pain. So, you know, for fancy, you want to take the string off like that because that's not fun to eat. So if we're gonna do that, we're gonna need to chat about something else. Even if you slip the lawyer something, it's a lot harder to get citizenship now. It really is. I don't know why the change. They were eager. Their population numbers are dropping in Italy, and they are eager to have people who are descendants nationalized so that you can get the population back up with people who are actually Italian. And it seemed like everything was full speed ahead, and then they changed some things. So I think there's one little loophole, but it's a lot of money for the lawyer and no guarantee. I think it was $7,000 for each family member, and there's no guarantee that you'll get it. If you're over 50, you can get a passive income visa. It's so easy. Well, I'll look into that. I mean, the easiest way to get it is just to get a residential visa. Go spend a few years there. What are some of your favorite desserts? You know, this is the thing. When you entertain, you have to have entertaining dessert recipes. And I have a handful. I make pot de creme. I make chocolate pot de creme, and I make a salted caramel pot de creme. I like pies. I'm pretty good at pie. I make really pretty meringues. Even though I'm not great eating eggs, I love working with meringue because it's so pretty. I have a few really good cookie recipes. Violet has great cookie recipes. Just show you make $1,800 to $100 monthly. It is a long stay visa, and after you renew it 5 times, you have citizenship. Wow. $1,800 a month. Okay, well, we can figure that out. We can definitely figure that out. Maybe I will get a house in Italy. It's harder now with the Prime Minister, but we could kiss her ass. See, that's Francesca's Italian. She knows how it works. Okay, do you think it's been 10 minutes since I put the... Never knew you had to peel the pea pods. I mean, it's just that string is not super pleasant. You know, the longer you spend prepping the vegetables, the more pleasant your experience is eating. But it's a little tedious. I don't want to make you guys watch me peel every one of these. I would like to slice them in half too. Have you had Dubai chocolate? I haven't. They have it at this little market near me. I'm not as much of a chocolate girl. There's a cake called Fluff Cake. Natalie's in New Jersey and they ship at 7. Oh, that's nice. Check the meatballs. Okay, thank you. I appreciate that, Kathy. I can smell them. I can kind of smell them happening. Yeah, I can move them now. I'm gonna move you guys over here. All right, here we go. Moving over to the soup pot now. Okay, so this is how we're going to get this broth tasting really good. As I'm going to put all of these little meatballs in here. And again, you know, turkey doesn't brown very well, but it's okay because these are gonna go right into the soup pot. Man down. Did I drop one? Okay. Okay, it's gonna stay there. Now we are going in with all the vegetables. So I'm going to, I have this on simmer, but I'm going to turn the heat up now. Now I'm going to add the kale. And it looks like a lot, but it cooks down to very little. Okay, here comes the bok choy. And I have an extra box of broth if we need it. And here are some snap peas. I'm going to put a few water chestnuts in here. One of you DM'd me and asked me the name of my can opener. It's called Swing Away. Okay, let me drain this. Have you guys ever had fresh water chestnuts? They are so good. Look how hearty and delicious this looks, and so healthy. Oh my God, it's so good. I'm gonna put a little more ginger right into the pot here. little bit of tamari. I don't like to let the vegetables get overcooked either. You want to just let these get to, so they're just tender, but they're going to stay nice and bright like that. You don't want soggy gray vegetables. What was the broth? It is chicken or turkey broth. And I just want to take a taste here and make sure that I like the salt and I like the seasoning. I need some of that meat to continue cooking through, but you get the idea here. I'm going to show you what this looks like in a bowl, but I'm gonna keep letting it cook and then I will finish it off in the story. But look how beautiful this is. Look at this. Now I like to put a little bit of the chili oil right on the top for a little kick of deliciousness. That is that. Make this soup. It is so hearty and healthy and delicious, and you guys are going to love it. And I will show you the final bite when Bruce gets home, and hopefully he'll say, damn. Thanks for joining me, guys. Mwah, mwah. See you soon. Love you all. Bye.